It's the day after Christmas, but we've got Jet stuff to get to. The Jets play on Thursday Night Football in Week 17 against the Cleveland Browns. We'll get into the nitty-gritty on that. Sam Darnold's back last night? Okay, we'll chatter about that a little bit as well and set you up for Jets-Browns, plus some reasons to watch beyond the wins and losses for the New York Jets. Without further ado, let's get started.
It is unequivocally the Super Bowl for New York Jet fans.
Field Yates, baby. Field gosh darn Yates. Let's bring him on the show.
Come on, people. Connor Rogers is joining the show. What's up, Connor? But Trevor gosh darn Sycamore, baby, for me, personally, my favorite New York Jet of all time.
Wow, it's great to be on. What an intro that was right there.
Paul, nobody does an intro like you, man.
Paul, you give the best intro of literally any podcast that I've ever been.
I'm gonna lose my gosh darn bananas.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Paul Esden Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Evie.com. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. I hope you guys all had a wonderful holiday with your families yesterday and continue to for whoever has the week off. I do, personally, from the radio station, so I'll be just doing a bunch of Jet content from the home office, the home studio, so I'm looking forward to that, plus some time with the family. So I hope all you guys enjoy it as well. Jets play Thursday Night Football against the Cleveland Browns and old buddy Joe Flacco. We have a few things to get into on that, but before we get started, let's welcome in my guest. He is a rising stud in the business, no doubt about it. J Jets X, North Jet. You could call him a lot of different names, but what I call him is a Jets content creator who joins us here on the program. So let's bring him in. Good morning, Jay, here on the day after Christmas. God bless. How are you, pal?
Good morning, Paul. Merry Christmas. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, by the way, I love that new logo. We have it up in the octagon. I'm not sure, based on those that muscle definition on your little cartoon character there, I'm not sure if I want to step in the octagon with you, pal. Wow. You look
Appreciate
stacked.
it, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Yeah,
it,
very
man.
nice. That's a cool graphic, though. Very nice, man. You're rising through. Let us know a little bit to get us started here about your show that you do every week. You got a YouTube show yourself. Give us the deets.
Yeah, man. Well, from what you said, I started doing my own YouTube show. I do a weekly show with one of my buddies, Randy from One Jets Pod. We do a weekly recap of the Jets matchup, and we do a preview, and we talk a little bit about what's going on in-house. Usually there's a lot going on in-house with the Jets. Seems like every week there's some new drama going on. So, we always talk a little bit about Aaron Rodgers and obviously the draft. And but yeah, this week I'm going to be doing another show with Gus Toon on Friday. So we're trying to bring in more guests, and yeah, it's going good.
And there you go. There's a handle below if you guys can't see it. It is at JJetsX. If you'd like to hit that up on the old Twitter sphere, feel free to show your love, everybody, and make sure you do for a fellow Jets content creator. And speaking of Jets content, we have plenty of that. Before we get into the Jet stuff, last night, former number 3 overall pick Sam Darnold got in the game for old Brock Purdy, and I went on a tweet storm saying it's the Sam Darnold era. And I got vibes a couple years ago. You guys may remember that's the last time the Ravens were in the Super Bowl. It was the Harbaugh Bowl. It was Jim and John facing off in the Super Bowl. And during that regular season for the 49ers, things seem to be going spectacular for the 49ers. And Alex Smith gets hurt. And some guy named Colin Kaepernick comes trotting off the bench. He takes the job and never looks back. He takes them all the way to the Super Bowl. They end up losing a very close game. This time around, Brock Purdy gets hurt. Sam Darnold goes in there, shows some signs of life. It was too late. There was too big of a score deficit and everything else by the time he got in. But still, it looked a little different. Are you buying the Sam Darnold type, Jay?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. I was excited. I was excited when he got it because I was always a Sam Pro guy. I never wanted him to leave. In my opinion, he never really had anything to work with the Jets. So I was excited. He looked pretty good. Like he led a touchdown drive right when he came in. So and like Brock Purdy did not have a good game yesterday. In my opinion, he lost the MVP with that game.
Yeah, me too. I agree.
Through 400 interceptions, and it's just I don't know, man. Like you mentioned the Alex Smith and Colin Kaepernick thing. I didn't really think about that. So, in my opinion, with how Purdy played against a elite team as the Ravens, and in my opinion, the Ravens might be the team that coming out of the AFC.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, man. I think you gotta let Darnold throw it because he played good. You know what I mean? And Brady, 4 interceptions is a lot. I don't know the rest of their schedule,
Mhm.
but like he could be injured as well. So I would like to see Darnold play. I think that would be a great story for him. He's battled through a lot of adversity. He's dealt with a lot in his career. So I love Darnold. I want to see him do good with the 49ers. So I agree with you.
Yeah, we'll see. Apparently, according to Lisa Salters, who's a sideline reporter for Monday Night Football, Brock Purdy was
Hmm.
cleared last night to return, but the
He
49ers
was.
went, you can stay on the bench, kid, and let Sammy go to work. Now, they may have just said, we think the game's probably out of hand. We don't want to throw him back out there. But,
Hmm.
again, if you give an opportunity to someone to step in your role and see how they do, who knows? The 49ers are talking all kinds of sweet pleasantries about Sam Darnold over the last
Yeah.
couple of months. So we'll see on Sammy. Let's go to another former Jets quarterback, Joe Flacco. Now, we released a video on this late last night, not a live show, just a quick video because I just felt compelled to discuss it. Diana Rossini, NFL insider for The Athletic, and we'll tweet out this story after the show, but she said that Joe Flacco expressed interest multiple times to return to the Jets this past offseason. He has had 3 different stints on the Jets. He was here in 2020. He was traded back here in 2021, and then he comes back here for a third time in 2022, signing all these one-year deals. And
Yeah.
beginning of the offseason, he said, "Hey, Jets, I want to come back." They're like, "We're good, thanks." Bunch of months go by. Aaron Rodgers gets hurt. Joe Flacco once again comes to Jets. "Hey, right here, you can bring me in." They're like, kick rocks, pal. We'd rather have Trevor Siemian, Zach Wilson, and Tim Boyle. And Diane Rossini quotes that in the piece that they'd rather stick with what they got, and they eventually signed Siemian. Now we look at Joe Flacco. He's the starting quarterback of a 10-win Cleveland Browns team that is firmly in the playoff mix. They're the 5 seed right now, and
Yeah.
he is 3-1 as a starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. Do you think the Jets should have any regret, any buyer, remorse for not purchasing the Joe Flacco package when they had the chance, Jay?
I mean, I'm looking at his stats right now. He's playing decent,
Yeah.
but in my opinion,
Hmm.
I don't think he would have done anything with this offensive line and the way the offense is being run. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Zach has even like Simeon, he didn't really have that great of a game against the Commanders, and Zach had a good game against the Texans. But I don't think any quarterback. I mean, like I can't really say that, but I don't think Joe Flacco is that kind of quarterback that would succeed on our team. I've been seeing a lot of things where Jets fans are complaining about that, but I mean, I don't know. Like the Cleveland Browns offensive line is obviously far more superior than ours. We're very banged up. We've gone through what, like 12 combinations of offensive line, maybe more. So I think that's the big factor in it. I'm not really upset about it. I don't think they should have made the call because like you said, he called them at the beginning of the year, but we still had Zach. We didn't really see what he could do with the system. In his first game, he played all right. We saw him play against the Bills, and he got thrown into that, and he did all right. So we had a little bit of faith going into the next game against Cowboys. And I don't want to say he played terrible against the Cowboys. So I mean, I think
They
they were
played okay
just
till the end. Yeah, I was at
yes.
the game. He was okay till the end. Then picks started dropping all over the place. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't think they should have made the call because, like I said, I don't really think it would have made any much more difference. I think Zach, at that point, I hate to say it, was our best option. I mean, there were other free agent quarterbacks floating around at that point, like Josh Jobs is a name to mention, but he just got benched. So you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
it's a hard question to answer, but I don't think he would have done anything with the Jets.
Yeah, again, Joe Flacco's been playing spectacular. He's averaging over 326 passing yards per game during this run with the Browns. Again, he's been the starting quarterback for 4 games. He originally signed with the Browns practice squad back right ahead of Thanksgiving. It was on November 20th. And
Yeah.
again, he's killing it, and he deserves all the love for friggin' killing it. But I'm going to be honest, I think you're right. Behind this offensive line, I'm not sure how he would have done. Now, in fairness, the Browns have dealt with a lot of injuries. Jedrick Wills got injured. Jack Conklin got injured. Not to be mistaken with Tyler Conklin, no relation. But you have some of those guys that have been injured on the Browns offensive line. They've been dealing with all kinds of injuries, and Joe Flacco and this team has overcome the injuries as opposed to the Jets, who folded like a cheap suit. So that part of it makes me think that maybe there was something. At the very least, it would have made sense to bring him into the room because he's obviously more proven than Tim Boyle. He's obviously more proven than Trevor Siemian. So from that perspective, I think there is a compelling case to be made. Not just bring him in straight up as your starter, perhaps, but there could have
Yeah.
been a compelling case potentially to be made there for old Joey. Now he's going to get his chance for revenge. The Browns will have clinching scenarios. I do not have those in front of me, but they will have clinching opportunities if they get to 11 wins on Thursday Night Football against the New York Jets. They are not
Yeah.
officially in yet, so they do have an op to potentially. So they have things to play for. The Jets, they're eliminated from the playoffs. They have old nothing to play for here, so it should be interesting. But this is our last primetime game of the year. But the Jets'
Yes.
final two games are both on the road at Cleveland, at New England. What's your prediction for these next two games? What are they going? 2-0, 1-1, 0-2? What's happening, Jay?
I mean, the Browns game is kind of interesting because, like you said, Joe Flacco. We're going against Joe Flacco, and it's kind of a revenge. I don't want to say revenge game because it's not. But I mean, I think our defense will put up a good fight against their offense. You know, like I said, our defensive line is really good. We can rush the passer. It seems like the past few weeks the quarterbacks have struggled. Like Sam Howell, Stroud. You know, he unfortunately he got concussed and he's been out for the last 2 weeks. So I think Joe Flacco would collapse if he took some hits. I don't know who their backup is, but our secondary is playing really good. So like I said, I think our defense matches up really well against their offense. Our offense against their defense though is going to be tricky because we don't know yet. Obviously, I think unless Zach isn't going to clear the protocol this week, I think you
probably
never know
unlikely. I would say probably unlikely. Saleh
yeah.
didn't have an answer yesterday for that, but Zach Wilson's still in the concussion protocol. Short week. I would say it's a far stretch that he'll be ready for the game, but if he's not, it sounds like it'll be Siemian.
Yeah, so that's another big factor. I mean, their defense is Browns' defense is really good. So I don't
concur.
As a fan, I want the Jets to win, but as a sports guy, I don't think they can win this game. It's like I said, Browns have playoff clinching scenarios. So, and for the Browns, that you don't get that too often. They're 10-5 right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the Jets fight hard, but I think they're going to end up losing that game against the Browns. Now, the New England game is a whole different story. That game is going to be in New England.
Yeah.
Could potentially be Belichick's last game ever, or with the Patriots. We don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen probably Zach is probably going to play in that game, I would figure. Unless Siemian lights up the Browns. You never know.
Or if the Jets just say, all right, Zach, like it's over. See ya.
Yeah.
Although Saleh did say if he's healthy, he will start the rest of the game. So yeah, you're right. I would imagine with that much time, you'd imagine he would clear concussion protocol by then. So yeah, I would imagine that. Yeah.
So those Patriots games are always interesting matchups. We haven't beaten them in what? I think 14.
I believe it's 15.
Oh, 15, yeah.
Which is the new active record holder for most defeats in a row to a singular opponent because the Broncos beat the Chiefs earlier this year. They were the only one that was ahead of the Jets, and they won. So, now it's only the Jets. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I want to win that game. I don't care about the draft pick. Obviously I care about the draft, but, I'm not worried about it. I see a lot of people that are saying, oh, no, we need to lose. I was at the Commanders game. I was cheering my head off. I wanted them to win, and they won. I in my opinion, the draft doesn't really look what we did last year. We drafted Will McDonald. I'm not saying he's not going to be a stud because I like him. I think he's going to be good, but we're going to get a good player no matter what. I know we're not going to get Marvin Harrison. We may not get Joe Alt, but we got to get wins. You got to develop these young players. Look at the game that Breece Hall had on Sunday. Look at the game that Garrett Wilson had in Sauce. These guys don't want to lose. They want to win. So I think the Jets beating the Patriots week 18 would be huge for this team. Breaking the streak. Saleh gets his first win against the Patriots. Maybe Zach gets his first win. And then, like I said, it could be Belichick's last game for the Patriots. It probably will be. I think that would be the best thing ever, especially it's in Foxborough. So I think the Jets win that game on a tight game because for some reason, we should have beat them in that first game. Let's just get that out of the way. We should. In that game, I hate to say it, it was on Zach. That was probably one of his worst games he has ever played. So I think they end the season 1-1. They finish 7-10 again, second year in a row.
Yeah.
And from everybody saying that, oh, we're gonna go 12-4, 14-2 or 14-3. It's just, and now we're 7-10 again. That's not terrible considering what we had to deal with. And I know we're not gonna get a top 5 pick, but like I said, I'm not mad about the season. It's whatever, man. It's out of our control. So as a fan, you just got to sit back and watch.
I'm glad you brought that up because I just want to get this off my chest because you know what? Fans can fan however they want. Maybe some people went to the game and said, man, I really hope we lose to the Commanders. Better draft pick, blah, blah, blah. Maybe there's people. I don't know. But all I could say is this. Friggin' move on, people. For the people that are still out, I was still talking to people last night.
Yep.
It's Tuesday. We got a game on Thursday. I still got people yapping on
Oh
Twitter
yeah.
telling me, Paul, man, what a meaningless win against a CFL team. Like, shut up. Jesus. I mean, okay, you wanted to root for the loss and it didn't happen. Okay, pass the freaking biscuits, pal. Move on. Root against them for the next game if you want. But all this complaining that I can't believe they won. It's terrible. Like,
Yeah.
stop being a whiny little
It's
insert
bad.
your word. I mean, for
It's
God's sake.
bad.
It's just sad. It's disgusting. Like, root
Mhm.
for what you want and then move on. Okay.
Yeah.
I rooted for the win. We're moving on. There's a Browns logo beneath your head. Let's go. Let's smack them
Exactly.
on the cheeks and keep this train rolling. I just think some of the complaining about the meaningless wins and all this other stuff is also not factoring in the fact that these are professional athletes. When
Yeah.
I know that, and they're not robots, they're human beings, and people will say meaningless win and this or that. It's not meaningless for that team. It's not
Exactly.
meaningless if they beat the Patriots, if they get the vibes going. I don't think it's good for the team. It may be good for all you guys when they're mathematically eliminated. Hey, let's lose as many as possible. That's better. I get it from that perspective, from a like robotic surgery perspective, saying this to this makes sense. You want to know what doesn't make sense? Is for this team to lose potentially 9 or 10 in a row, and Brees Hall and Garrett Wilson, the young guys on this team, go, wow, so we're just terrible. We're always going to suck, man. You know what? I want to go somewhere else where winning happens more often.
There you go.
This is a losing culture. We just suck. No,
Yep.
I want the young players to win games, go, oh, this is what it tastes like. And then Aaron Rodgers comes back next year and they win a bunch of games. She's like, holy shit, I want to be here forever. This is phenomenal. Jet fans are crazy bastards. We're winning games. This is great. I think it is so important. It's overlooked by people when we're talking about wins this late in the season. It's actually a credit to Salah when literally there's nothing to play for that these guys are going crazy trying to win these games. I think that speaks to Salah, not away from him. And by the way, one more thing, just because I'm on this soapbox rant here, everyone's saying, well, they blew a 20-point lead, but then they didn't. Then they won. So, okay, would I have preferred, as you were there at the game, would I have preferred not for the 20-point lead to disappear? Sure, but it happened, and then they won the friggin' game. So stop complaining about, like I saw, and here it is. It's a Nania again, but I see him say, I don't care. I don't care that the Jets blew the 20-point lead and then ended up winning the game. Still fire everyone. Fire Douglas, fire Salah, fire Hackett. Go take a walk, pal. Go take a cigarette break, for Pete's sake. Unbelievable.
No, I agree with you, man. Like, and I was dealing with it at the game.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Bro,
do tell.
I kept, even when the kick was happening, people were like, miss. And I was looking over and they were Jets fans. I'm like, guys, why are you here?
Exactly.
Like, I was with my buddy Justin Forocho. Shout out to him. I tailgated with him. We had a good time at the game. And he's like me. We root for wins. And like you said, I'm going to go on a little bit of a rant here, but
okay, go ahead.
These players don't want to lose. They want to win. I played football, bro. I don't care about draft picks. Yes, they help. And I know I'm going to be tweeting this. Yes, we got this guy when the draft happens. But during the season, man, I want to win. I was at the game. I wanted to see a win. They blew that 20-point lead. I was pissed. I was so mad. And then Simeon came down, performed a great final drive, and Jerling nailed the kick, and it was beautiful. And they won. And I don't know, but a lot of people went nuts, but I was getting attacked on Twitter during the game and saying, haha, we lost in this. And I was getting kind of mad. And I'm like, guys, I'm a fan. I know that it helps their draft stock. I'm not an idiot. But as a fan, like you said, these players want to win. Fans want to see them win. They want to bring more fans in. They don't want to see a losing team. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
I completely agree with you. I think the whole tanking thing is super annoying. There's a lot of fans that are really, really getting on my nerves about it, but it's over. We're 6-9 now. We're probably going to finish 7-10, so you just got to deal with it. We're probably going to end up with what, like a 14th pick maybe?
It
We're
depends.
still
Again, we were helped by some other teams. For instance, I think a lot of people
yes.
assume the Raiders are going to lose to the Chiefs yesterday. That would probably be a fair assumption. They were a 10-point underdog in that game when we did our radio pick sheets. They win. If the Raiders would have lost, the Jets would have dropped to the number 10 overall pick. Raiders surprisingly win. The Jets stay at 9. So, long story short, crazy shit happens. So teams win that you don't
Yeah.
expect. Teams lose that you don't expect. So we'll see what happens. I think it is still TBD. And the only thing I just kind of want to add to all this is like I see a lot of people saying, Paul, I thought you just said, I see Phil said it. Paul, I thought you just said you let every fan how they want. It's just getting shoved in my face on Twitter. That's why I'm even bringing this
Yes.
up to begin with. I'm not fans can fan however they want. They can root for losses, root for wins. I don't give a flying hoot. But I'm just saying,
Yeah.
no matter what your take is, no matter where you are, move on. It's
Yeah.
Tuesday. Like we're talking Browns now. We're getting ready for the next game. Like you can fan
Yeah.
how you want. You want to get in the game and do all that, great. But then rip off the Band-Aid and move on because we can't control it anymore. Well, first off, we can't control it at all. But we
Mhm.
love to react and discuss it and all these other things. So to me, and I see Michael in here. Let me throw a couple more in here before we wrap up. Michael on our YouTube channel says, I'm still struggling with the quote unquote win that feels like a loss versus Washington. I would say this. If we're talking about the Jets Giants game where that was the most ugly gosh darn football game I've ever seen, thankfully
I
we
was
get
there
the
for that
Brees
one
Hall
too.
touchdown. Yeah, and it's your fault. So this is what's happening. It's your fault on me. Although the Washington one was fun, but that's my point. That's my point exactly. So the Giants one was ugly outside of the Brees Hall touchdown. Like, okay, if it was that game and you're like struggling, man, boy, that really felt like a loss. Like, okay. The Jets opened up a can of whoop ass on Washington and let up. Obviously, it was a close game to end. But in the moment, I'm like, holy friggin' crap, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Touchdowns are dropping from the sky.
17 points in the first quarter. Like
Yeah.
that. Who? I was like,
And
what is
exactly.
going
I
on?
was revved up. I'm like, this is freaking phenomenal. Wow.
You should see me, man. I'm still getting my voice back.
Yeah, so that's what I'm talking about. So to me, that part of it's great. Again, it would be one thing. And Phil, you don't do Twitter. Don't do Twitter, pal. That's my advice to you.
Good.
Do not
Yeah.
hop off
Stay
it.
away.
But that's what I'm saying. My mentions are on fire with the people complaining about the win, and I'm just like, people, for Pete's sake, let's roll. But anywho, again, we are moving on because we're going to the Jets Browns game, which again is Thursday Night Football, last primetime game of the year, and
Thank God.
then we'll have a mini break because they'll play on Thursdays. We'll have that weekend plus the following week for New England week. Then we're going to get ready for the crazy offseason. It should be with the Jets being ultra aggressive to maximize this window. So, Jay, let's end on this. I think I don't know if you gave an official score prediction, but I'll give you an opportunity to, for all our guests that are joining us this week for the Jets-Browns game. We will have a Browns Insider. That will be Wednesday. So, yeah, tomorrow. Jesus. All right. Time is flying here. We'll have a Browns guru on tomorrow to give us the latest on Browns. Then Woody will be with us on Thursday for a game day show. What is your score prediction for Jets-Browns on Thursday, Jay?
Well, like I said earlier, I don't think the Jets are gonna it'd be a tough game for them to win with everything going on in playoff scenarios and in Cleveland. They are coming off a decent win though, but they did give up 28 points to a really bad Commanders offense, so that's kind of worrisome. I think the Browns take this one 27-14, unfortunately.
Okay.
But I think, Brees has a big game. Garrett gets over that 1K, which is going to be amazing. We didn't bring that up, but
What's
Garrett
that, 42
Wilson,
yards? Is that what we're
I
at?
believe
Yeah.
it's 42 yards. So that is huge, man.
Yes.
Considering the QBs he's had to deal with 2 years in a row, props to Garrett Wilson. I love the kid. But, yeah, I just think the Jets are going to end up losing this one.
Yes, I will say real quick, which was kind of a theme of the show, was Garrett Wilson getting over the 1K. Just in general, Brees Hall is on pace to be the second most dynamic receiving running back in Jets single-season history. So shout out to him with the receptions being churned up. He's currently on pace to finish second all-time in Jets single-season receiving records for a running back or fullback. So shout out to him. Richie Anderson, gets his proper love as well. So throwing all that love out. So more young guys like Jason Brownlee got his first touchdown in the Commanders game.
Yes,
so
he
cool.
did.
Garrett Wilson hopefully gets over 1K. Brees Hall. Some of the young guys. Bryce Huff has 8 sacks. Love to see him get double digits. That'd be amazing for Bryce. He's about to get paid. So I'm rooting for a lot of those guys to, kind of make some juice. A couple of final questions here or comments. Dakota says, Jay, love the jet setup behind you. It is very nice. Very on brand. Very
Appreciate
nice.
it.
Let's see.
I don't have my big LSU helmet here. I forgot to put it there.
Yeah, I know.
There's a little one there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
People were asking how bad is Garrett injury. He came back in the game, so I actually think he's okay.
He did.
Yes.
I don't think anybody got really hurt because I know Jermaine went down and it did not look good, but he ended up finishing the game and so did Garrett. So
Yeah, the only
other than
two
Zach,
are Jeremy Ruckert had a concussion, and because of the short week, he can't pass concussion protocol in that short of time. So he was already ruled out, and then Zach Wilson's up in the air. Again, I imagine he will eventually be
yeah.
ruled out as well. So Garrett injury, he returned to the game. Now, he's going to get the elbow looked at in the offseason. That's a separate thing. That wasn't the thing that happened during this game. But I
I think it was
believe
his
Garrett is
ankle
good,
or something.
actually.
Yeah.
So let's see that. All right, let's. I just want to end on this Phil thing. Curious question: if you root for winning, would you have been disappointed if we lost an improved draft pick? Here's how I look at it, Phil. And just to recap, because I've said this a few times, but for me, I proclaim to be the most optimistic Jets fan on the planet. Self-proclaimed, but I proclaim it. Okay, so what I do is I rationalize. When I'm in front of the tube, I'm rooting for my team. I want my team to win. Let's go. I'm at the stadium. I'm rooting for my team to win. If they lose, I go, well, better draft pick. If they win, I'm like, phenomenal, great for the culture, great for the brand, great for the whatever. So that's how I look at it. Now, some people may say that's crazy to look at the positive side no matter what. Like you should be pissed if they don't win or this. Like I am angry. Like I'm not happy. Ah, geez, they won. Or when they lose, I'm not like, wow, that was great. Give me some more, sir. I love getting kicked in the ass. Kick me again, pal.
Yeah.
No, I don't feel that way. But that's how I rationalize it. So again, of course, as Jay mentioned already, the draft picks, of course, it help. I understand it helps the team. Higher draft pick, you have a better chance at different talent, more flexibility, and stuff like that. But I would just reiterate, Garrett Wilson was the 10th overall pick. Pretty solid. Okay, and that's the Jets are actually improved on that. They're at the 9 overall pick right now. The Jets had the 2nd overall pick. Zach Wilson stunk. So sometimes there's bad, sometimes there's good. It goes all over the place. So you can make just because you're high in the draft doesn't mean you get a great pick.
We
just 'cause
can
you're low or that.
say so many names that the Jets drafted in the first round. I'll give you a bad example. Sorry to cut you off, but D. Milner right there. That's
D.
it.
Milner,
That's all I'm
number
gonna
9
say.
overall.
Calvin
Jordan
Pryor.
Goldschmidt,
Calvin
6th
Pryor.
overall. Calvin Pryor, Darren Lee. Unfortunately, I have a lot of ammunition, unfortunately, to
Exactly.
immediately go, this name. Dwayne Robertson, who was in the mid 2000s. Like again, there are some badass, terrible picks. But
Kai Beckham.
obviously, we will break down all kinds of crazy draft stuff when we get to the offseason. I'm looking forward to that and mock drafts and all that fun jazz. But for now, I'm just going to go crazy and hope the Jets kick the Browns' ass on Thursday Night Football. I think they have an outside shot, and we'll get more into that as we go throughout the week. I think Joe Flacco's immobility will, against this Jets defense, could be crazy. But now where we get funky is that Jets offense against the Browns defense, which, again, could get the old turnover monster as Trevor Siemian was being a little too giving around this time of year. Hey, here you go, Washington. Take this from Malaya. Like, Jesus, dude, rein
that
it
was
in.
brutal.
I wish he was a little bit more grinchy. Like he wasn't giving the ball away to everybody he saw. I'd rather he hold on a little bit tighter. So we'll see if that changes on Thursday Night Football. Jay, it was awesome for you to join me. I appreciate you popping on the program, man. And we'll have to do this again very soon, pal.
Yeah, for sure, man. I appreciate you having me on. Hopefully it's another good topic. The wins help.
That's right.
The wins help the content, let's just say the least.
Yeah, greases the wheel. That's for sure. There's no doubt about it. So I hope we have another good one. Thanks everybody for commenting, whether it's on the YouTube, the Twitter, the Facebook. We appreciate you. Make sure you guys like the video. Also hit subscribe on the YouTube channel. We're trying to get to 6,000 subs by the new year, which is less than a week away. We'll see. We need like 120 people, so we need a lot of people. So tell a friend if you can. We appreciate it. And we'll be back on tomorrow morning at 7:30. Like I said, we'll have a Browns insider joining us to preview the matchup, and Joe Flacco, Elijah Moore. We'll check on all that crazy jazz. We're looking forward to it.
I forgot about that.
Oh yeah.
Forgot about that.
We've got content. We've got content to get to, and I'm looking forward to it. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll see you next time.